We all know building a photography website can feel, well, totally overwhelming. But there's a newly awarded tool designed specifically to do the heavy lifting for you so you can finally get your site online. So why should you care about yet another website builder? First, let's talk about trust. Professional Photographer Magazine, the official voice of the PPA, just named this to their 2026 Hot Ones Buyer's Guide. This is actually the 27th year of the guide, and PhotoBiz's third consecutive year making the cut. This isn't just some tech gimmick. That PPA stamp of approval means it's a vetted, serious tool for real professional photographers. Second, how does it cure that awful blank page syndrome? Well, the AI takes your images, your business info, and your style preferences and whips up a personalized starting point. Staring at a blank screen is literally paralyzing, right? This AI acts kind of like a sketch artist, handing you a beautifully outlined canvas that you just have to color in. Finally, you retain absolute control over your vision. Now, you might be thinking, will an AI make my site look totally generic? No way. Your creative voice stays front and center. You aren't stuck with the AI's first draft at all. You can easily adjust pages, text, colors, fonts, and layouts right in the PhotoBiz website builder. It's time to stop procrastinating. So let this award-winning tool give you the ultimate head start you need to finally launch your site.
This is the Focus Shift podcast, your best listening experience for creating your best online business. We'll focus on topics that help you get discovered. So sit back, listen, take notes if you like, and get excited about growing your business.
Imagine looking at your email marketing dashboard and seeing 10,000 subscribers.
Oh, that's a great feeling.
Right. You feel pretty amazing about it. You've hit this major milestone. The graph is moving up and to the right, and you are ready to send out a massive promotional campaign.
Yep, the classic success metric.
Exactly. But then you dig into the actual analytics and realize something completely counterintuitive. Sending emails to those 10,000 people is actually actively losing you money.
Yeah, and hurting your reputation.
Yes. Hurting your reputation and driving literally zero new sales every single time you hit send.
It is a terrifying realization for any business owner, but honestly, it happens all the time.
It really does.
We are just completely blinded by this cultural obsession with scaling. We've been conditioned by social media vanity metrics to believe that a bigger audience is automatically a better audience.
Right, like more followers equals more money.
Exactly. We see a massive number of followers or subscribers, and we just assume revenue will organically follow. But email marketing simply does not operate on those rules. I mean, it is fundamentally a relationship game, not a numbers game.
And that is exactly why we are doing a custom-tailored deep dive just for you today. Our mission is to master lead curation.
Yes.
This is specifically for those of you who are small business owners stepping up to build or refine your first email list.
Because it's so critical to get this right early on.
Totally. We're pulling from some incredibly insightful source material today on building a list that actually converts rather than one that just looks really impressive on a spreadsheet.
The core premise we have to accept, and honestly, it's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people, is that a modest, highly curated list of just 1,000 engaged subscribers is infinitely more valuable to your bottom line than a bloated list of 10,000 unengaged users.
Because marketing only truly works, right, and only generates revenue when you are communicating with people who actively want to hear from you.
Exactly.
So, okay, let's unpack this concept of lead curation. Before we can build an effective list, we really need to understand what we are actually collecting.
Right, like what is a lead, actually?
Yeah, the source text spends a good amount of time redefining that word. We hear lead thrown around in corporate jargon all the time, and usually it just means an email address somebody bought off a random database.
Which is the worst way to do it.
Right. But for a solo entrepreneur or a small service business, a lead is simply a human being who has shown some specific level of interest in what you do.
But they haven't necessarily handed over their credit card yet or booked a session.
Exactly. They're essentially raising their hand, even if it's just, a tentative few inches.
And what's fascinating here is how the text provides this great inventory of what those hand-raising actions actually look like out in the wild.
It's rarely just someone clicking a generic subscribe button in the footer of your website.
Right. Nobody does that anymore. A real lead is generated when someone takes a definitive action, like filling out a detailed contact form or downloading a free resource you created.
Or entering a highly specific giveaway you're hosting.
Yeah, or explicitly requesting your pricing guide.
They might be registering for a local event you're hosting, or inquiring about a very specific service. Or maybe they're a previous customer who made a small purchase like a year ago.
Yep. Every single one of those actions tells a unique story about what that person wants. And that story is the absolute foundation of curation.
Which means focusing intensely on the quality of the people entering your digital ecosystem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are trying to understand what specifically they're interested in so you can tailor the content you send them. You want to move them closer to becoming a customer rather than just blasting them with generic noise.
The best way to visualize this, I think, is to think about throwing a dinner party at your house.
Oh, I love this analogy.
Right. Would you rather have 10,000 random strangers standing on your front lawn, absolutely crushing your petunias, who only showed up because someone down the street whispered there might be free snacks?
Nobody wants that.
No. Or would you rather have 1,000 people who live in your neighborhood, who actually know your name, who brought a bottle of wine, and who are actively excited to pull up a chair to your dining table and celebrate with you?
That analogy just captures the dynamic perfectly, because those 10,000 people on the lawn are not just a neutral presence.
Oh, no, they're not.
They are actively costing you time, energy, and literal money. In the digital space, managing a massive list of unengaged people means you are paying higher monthly fees to your email software provider.
True, those subscriber tiers get expensive.
They really do, but even worse, it destroys your email deliverability.
Okay, let's define that term for a second, because deliverability is one of those technical hurdles that trips up a lot of beginners. What exactly is happening behind the scenes there?
So deliverability is essentially your reputation with major email providers like Gmail, Apple, Yahoo.
Okay.
When you send an email to 10,000 people and 9,000 of them immediately delete it or just ignore it, Gmail's algorithm actually notices that behavior.
Oh, wow. So they're watching.
Oh, yeah. The algorithm says, wow, nobody wants this content. This must be spam. So the next time you send an email, Gmail might automatically route it directly to the junk folder for everyone.
Even the people who want it.
Exactly, including the 1,000 people who actually wanted to read it.
Yeah.
Your massive, unengaged list actively prevents you from reaching your true fans.
So you're basically yelling into a void with a megaphone, trying to entertain the freeloaders on the lawn while the people sitting at your dinner table can't even hear you.
That is exactly what's happening. But when you curate the room, right, and focus only on that neighborhood list of 1,000 brand-aware subscribers, the data just completely transformed.
The source text notes you see significantly better open rates.
And just to be clear on the metrics, an open rate is simply the percentage of people who received your email and actually bothered to open it.
Right.
An unengaged list might see like a 10% open rate, but a curated list, that could easily push 40 or 50%.
That's a huge difference. And you also see stronger click-through rates, meaning they didn't just open the email, they cared enough to actually click a link inside it to, read a blog or view a portfolio.
Yep. And all of this leads to the ultimate goal, which is more meaningful conversions. You are marketing to people already considering your services.
But getting those specific, highly interested people onto your list in the first place requires a completely different strategy than what most businesses use.
It really does.
That is the big question. If we only want the right people at our proverbial dinner party, how do we get them to RSVP? Because nobody wakes up, pours a cup of coffee, and thinks, you know what I really need today? Another brand newsletter clogging up my inbox.
Right. I mean, we are all fiercely protective of our inboxes, and rightfully so. You cannot just slap a generic box on your website that says, sign up for updates and expect your ideal clients to just flock to it.
It's so lazy.
It is. You have to offer them a highly specific reason to hand over their email address. It requires offering a piece of value that your ideal customer genuinely finds useful to their immediate situation.
The source material provides some incredibly practical examples of this, particularly for a service-based business like a photographer.
Yeah, let's walk through those.
Instead of that lazy sign up for our newsletter prompt, a photographer could offer a free guide to preparing for a family photo session.
Now, notice the specificity there. It is not a broad list of general photography tips. It is exclusively about preparing for a family session.
Or they might offer a comprehensive wedding photography planning checklist. Or maybe a PDF with senior portrait outfit inspiration.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right. They could even offer a local guide on the best outdoor locations for photos in their specific city, or early access to booking mini sessions before they open to the general public.
The psychology behind those specific offers is just brilliant because they act as an automatic filter.
How so?
Well, this is a core rule from the source text that every business owner needs to internalize. If your offer appeals to absolutely everyone, you will get more leads.
Okay.
But if it appeals specifically to your ideal customer, you will get significantly better leads.
Right. So if you run a giveaway for a free iCAD, you're going to collect 5,000 email addresses overnight.
Yeah.
But 0 of those people actually care about your photography business. They just want an iPad.
Exactly. And the exact opposite happens with the wedding checklist. I mean, think about it. The only person on the planet who is going to take the time to download a wedding photography planning checklist is someone who is actively planning a wedding.
And looking for a photographer.
Exactly. By offering that specific piece of value, you just convinced your exact target demographic to identify themselves to you.
Okay, let's make this really concrete.
Wow.
Let's imagine a hypothetical customer. We'll call her Sarah.
Okay, Sarah.
Sarah is newly engaged and totally stressing out about finding a photographer. She's searching online, lands on your website, and sees a dedicated page offering that wedding checklist.
No, what you're describing there is a landing page.
Right.
It's a standalone web page created specifically for a marketing campaign. It has one single focus. In this case, offering the checklist in exchange for Sarah's email address. There are no other distractions, no navigation menus, just the offer.
So Sarah puts in her email on that landing page to get the checklist. Tracking that entry point, knowing that Sarah came through the wedding landing page rather than, say, a newborn photography blog post, is the secret cheat code the text talks about.
It really is, because people enter your business through all sorts of different doors. They might come through your main website, a social media link, maybe a local wedding expo, a referral campaign, or a specific blog post. Keeping track of where your best leads originate dictates your future strategy.
How does that play out in practice?
Well, if you realize that 80% of your paying clients join your list by downloading a guide they found on your blog, but you spend 90% of your time making Instagram reels that only attract passive followers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you immediately know you need to redirect your marketing time toward writing more blogs.
Okay, so we've got Sarah in the door. We attracted her with a highly specific hook. But here is where I really have to push back pretty hard on behalf of the solo business owner listening right now.
Okay, lay it on me.
If I'm just starting my first list, and I'm supposed to treat Sarah the bride completely differently than, say, Jessica the expectant mother who downloaded the newborn guide, doesn't creating all these different groups sound like a fast track to absolute information overload?
It sounds exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already wearing 12 hats, just trying to keep the business running. You're telling me I have to write a separate newsletter for the brides and another one for the new moms and another one for the commercial clients? I simply do not have the time for that.
That is the most common and honestly the most valid fear when we introduce the concept of segmentation. But let me clarify the mechanism of how this actually works.
Please do.
Because segmentation is not about doing 5 times the manual work. It is about setting up systems so your messaging is automatically relevant. It's about ensuring you don't send a newborn photography promotion to a bride who literally just got married yesterday.
Well, I definitely understand the goal. I don't want to look like I'm not paying attention to my clients' lives.
Yeah.
But even if the software is helping, I still have to design the logic, right?
Right.
How does the email platform even know that Sarah is a bride and not a new mom? Like, what is the actual mechanism happening there?
It comes down to something called tags, which operate invisibly in the background of almost all modern email software.
Okay, tags.
Remember when Sarah clicked the button on your landing page to download the wedding checklist? When she did that, the software automatically attached a digital sticky note to her profile. That sticky note is a tag that says, wedding interest. You only have to set up that rule once. From then on, anyone who downloads that specific guide gets that specific tag without you lifting a finger.
Oh, so the software is silently sorting people into buckets based on how they entered the house.
Not precisely. And the source text breaks down several other ways to segment these buckets.
What are the main ones?
The first is service interest, which we just covered, tagging them as weddings, families, or newborns. Next is customer status.
Customer status meaning?
Like, the software can tag someone as a brand new lead, an active customer who is currently in a project with you, or a loyal past customer. You communicate with a total stranger very differently than you speak to someone who has hired you 3 times.
Okay, yeah, that distinction makes perfect sense. What other buckets should we be using?
Location is crucial if you serve multiple cities. You don't want to email your Austin clients about a pop-up session in Dallas unless they've indicated they like to travel.
Right, that would just be annoying.
Exactly. Then there is engagement. This is a massive one. You can segment subscribers based on who regularly opens your emails versus people who haven't opened an email in 6 months.
Wait, really? So you can actually send an exclusive reward, maybe like a discount code, just to the people who are actively sitting at the dinner party and participating in the conversation?
You absolutely can. And finally, purchase history. You use past behavior to predict future needs.
How so?
Well, if Jessica booked a newborn session a year ago, the software knows that timeline. You can automate an email to go out 11 months later, suggesting a 1-year milestone family portrait session.
Oh, that's smart. So to bring this back to the workload concern I had earlier, I'm starting to see that I'm not writing 5 totally different newsletters from scratch every week.
Not at all.
I might write one core email about, I don't know, the importance of capturing family memories as time passes, but the software can just swap out the photo or change the specific call to action button at the bottom based on those tags. Exactly. Sarah sees a wedding photo, Jessica sees a toddler photo. The heavy lifting is done by the system.
That's incredible.
And that resulting relevance is really the currency of the inbox. If your emails consistently feel tailored and useful to their specific phase of life, they will not hit the unsubscribe button.
But getting them sorted into buckets is really only half the battle. Once we have Sarah the bride tagged and organized, what do we actually say to her to nurture that relationship?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. How do we keep her engaged without becoming that annoying brand that just screams, "BY my stuff," in every single email?
The source is adamant about this. Constantly sending aggressive promotions is the fastest possible way to burn your list to the ground.
It's awful.
You have to strike a balance. The ideal formula is a blend of helpful information, showing your personality, offering education, providing inspiration, and only then making direct sales pitches.
I think a lot of marketing advice compares this to dating. Don't propose on the first date. But honestly, that always feels a bit cliche to me.
Yeah, a little played out.
I prefer to think of it like walking into a high-end artisan bakery.
Okay, I'm listening.
If I walk in off the street, the baker doesn't immediately shove a contract in my face and demand I buy a $500 custom wedding cake.
That would be wild.
Right. They smile, they ask what event I'm planning, and they offer me a free sample of their best buttercream frosting. They let me taste the quality of their work. I have to trust that their cake is delicious before I drop $500. Your early emails to Sarah are those free samples of buttercream.
I love that analogy. You are providing small bites of value to earn the right to ask for the larger sale down the road.
Exactly.
And the easiest way to provide those free samples of value without having to be some kind of creative genius every week is to simply listen to your customers.
What do you mean?
The text strongly suggests turning the real questions your customers regularly ask you into your email topics.
Oh, wow. So you are just crowdsourcing your content strategy directly from the people you want to sell to.
It takes all the guesswork out of it. If you are a family photographer, what is the #1 thing clients stress out about?
Probably, what should we wear?
Exactly. So your next email is a visual guide to color coordination and outfit advice. If you run a bakery, people might ask about your ingredients. So you write an email sharing the behind-the-scenes story of how you source your flour from a local mill.
And for Sarah the bride, she is definitely wondering about timelines.
Right. You send her an email explaining exactly when she should schedule her engagement photos to get the invitations out on time.
That kind of content positions you as an expert and a helpful guide rather than just a salesperson. But eventually, we are running businesses. We do have to make the pitch.
Of course.
How do we know when Sarah's actually ready to be asked for the sale?
You don't have to guess because you look for what the text calls signals. Your subscribers are constantly giving you signals through their digital body language.
What does a digital signal look like in practice?
Well, we talked about open rates earlier. Opening an email is a low-level signal, shows mild interest. But remember, click-through rates.
Yeah.
If Sarah opens your email about engagement timelines and clicks the link inside to view a gallery of your past engagement shoots, that is a much stronger signal.
Because it requires actual effort on her part.
Yeah.
She is actively exploring.
Exactly. And the mechanism for tracking that is built right into the email platform. Every link you include is uniquely tracked.
Right.
If she clicks a link to visit your official pricing page or, downloads a detailed pricing guide, that is a massive high-intent signal.
So the software sees Sarah clicking the pricing link. It potentially adds a new tag that says hot lead. And you use those behaviors to identify who is ready for a pitch.
Yeah.
You don't suddenly bombard her with aggressive sales calls, but you recognize her interest and offer a very clear, frictionless opportunity to take the next step. You prioritize the people who are actively tasting the buttercream and asking for more.
Which brings us to the concept of maintenance. As this relationship with your subscribers matures over months or years, you have to confidently guide them.
Right.
The source emphasizes that every single email you send must have a defined purpose. You should never send an email that just says, hey, just checking in to see what's up.
It's just a waste of their inbox space.
It really is.
You need a call to action, a CTA. What do you actually want the reader to do after they read your helpful advice? And the rule of thumb is to give them one and ideally only one obvious next step.
Yeah, if you give them 5 different options, read this, buy this, follow me here, listen to this, they will experience decision fatigue and do absolutely none of them.
The paradox of choice is very real, but a call to action doesn't always have to be a heavy buy now button, right?
Not at all. A next step could be clicking to read a new blog post. It could be viewing your latest portfolio update.
Or joining a waitlist for your busy fall season.
Exactly. It could simply be asking them to reply directly to the email and tell you their favorite venue in town. The goal is always about moving someone one incremental step deeper into your business's ecosystem.
But let's look at the flip side of this. What happens when the signals just stop?
Yeah.
Let's say Sarah gets married. You shoot her wedding. She's thrilled. A year goes by. She doesn't have kids yet, so she isn't interested in your family sessions or newborn guides. She stops clicking links. Then she stops opening your emails altogether.
The dreaded silence.
This is the part that terrifies small business owners. We hate seeing people leave the dinner party. We take the unsubscribe notification incredibly personally.
We do, because it feels like rejection.
It does.
But if we tie this back to the very first thing we discussed, quality over quantity and protecting your deliverability,
Right.
we have to talk about list cleaning.
Okay, list cleaning.
The text explicitly states that true lead curation means knowing when someone no longer belongs on your active list. People's lives change. They move away, their kids graduate and leave the house, they get married, and no longer need a wedding planner.
It's just the natural life cycle of a customer. It's not a reflection of your worth as a business owner.
Exactly. So you must periodically review your software for these inactive subscribers, the people who haven't opened anything in 6 months.
Just delete them.
Well, before you just delete them, the mechanism to handle this gracefully is to run an automated re-engagement campaign.
Okay, what does that look like?
You send a very simple, polite email stating, hey, I notice you haven't been opening these updates lately. I want to respect your inbox, so if you no longer need photography tips, no problem at all. But if you do still want to hear from me, just click this link to stay on the list.
Okay, and if they click it?
If they click the link, the system removes the inactive tag and you've saved them.
And if they ignore that email too?
Then you manually remove them from your list. You let them go. And here is the crucial insight from the source text. Allowing them to leave or actively removing them yourself is not a failure. It is basic hygiene. It makes your email marketing significantly healthier.
Because you are politely ushering the party crashers off the lawn.
Yeah.
You are letting the people who no longer need your services exit, so your open rates stay high, your deliverability stays flawless with Gmail, and you can focus all your creative energy and software budget exclusively on the people sitting at the table who actually want to hire you.
You are actively curating the room. It shifts your entire perspective on what an audience should look like.
It really is a complete paradigm shift. So to summarize the journey we've taken today, successful email marketing does not start when you sit down to hit send. Hitting send is the final, easy step.
Right.
True success starts by attracting the right people with highly specific, valuable offers. It requires using tags to organize them based on their unique interests and behaviors.
Yep.
And it demands nurturing them, balancing helpful educational content with strategic sales pitches. If you do that, when they are finally ready to buy, your business isn't a desperate stranger shouting at them. You are already a trusted, familiar guide.
It really just requires abandoning the comfort of vanity metrics.
That is the ultimate takeaway for you listening to this deep dive. When you look at your dashboard tomorrow, stop focusing on how many total subscribers you have. Focus entirely on who they are, what they need, and how you can serve them. Quality over quantity, every single time.
I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over, especially if you are about to sit down and draft your next marketing email.
Go for it.
We just explored how an unsubscribe is not a failure, but is actually a vital sign of a healthy, self-cleaning ecosystem. So how might that change the actual words you use?
Oh, that's interesting.
What if your goal wasn't to desperately cling to every single person who ever gave you their email address? What if you wrote with such clear, specific intention that you gently encouraged the wrong fits to leave, just as much as you tried to convince the right fits to stay?
It completely removes the fear of sending an email. Don't be afraid to walk the wrong people to the door so you can pull out a chair for the right ones.
Oh.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We will see you next time.
The Focus Shift podcast is presented by PhotoBiz, the best website solution for photographers. Whether you're launching your site or scaling your online business, PhotoBiz has your back. To get started for free, visit photobiz.com today.